Hello, my name is Oscar Faulkner. I'm joined today by Diederik Stadig, Senior Economist at ING. Hi Diederik.
Hi, Oscar.
What's in store for global pharma in 2026?
Thanks for having me, Oscar, and great question. So for global pharma in 2026, we expect a rather good year. Obviously, there's been lots of talk about tariffs, about budget cuts in the US, and about the uncertainty that brings for the sector. And we have seen the discussion on pharma and its future evolve from a discussion on manufacturing to prices to where innovation takes place. But amid all this uncertainty, we actually think the pharmaceutical sector will be doing quite well. We expect roughly 5% growth. We expect that to hold until 2030. This is mostly driven by population aging and growing access to medication worldwide. So in spite of all this uncertainty, we expect pharma to have a very good year. Also very solid M&A numbers, so much to look forward to.
Which specific reforms would actually move the needle for Europe? And are any of them realistically on the table in the next 2 to 3 years?
Right, so as I already alluded to in my previous answer, there's been a lot of shifts going around in the pharmaceutical landscape. So for Europe specifically, we've seen a reallocation of capital away from Europe towards the US, primarily for manufacturing. But the question is also increasingly raised whether Europe's still attractive from an innovation standpoint. So does it have attractive clinical trial regulation? Health technology assessment requirements are not uniform. Europe doesn't pay as much for medicines as the US, obviously. So with that in mind, we're actually seeing, on the one hand, the continuance of US dominance. It remains the most important pharma market. China, on the other hand, is on the rise. We've seen much more clinical trials coming out of China, much more new innovative drugs being developed, and Europe lagging behind a little bit. So that's a real issue. To fix that issue, there's several things that Europe could do. First, is already mentioned that regulations across the 27 EU member states aren't uniform. Then obviously when you include the UK and Switzerland, there's an increasing divergence even. So Europe would do well to adopt a uniform set of rules and to make sure that it adopts regulation to become finally a true capital markets union, to have deeper funding pools for European innovation. Now, is that likely? Not in the near future. So we expect the current trend to continue where China continues its rise, the US remains dominant and Europe lags behind the 8 ball. There are green shoots like vaccines, mRNA, logistics, CDMO markets, all doing very well. But on balance, we don't think any of those reforms are likely in the short term.
What trends are shaping deal activity in European pharma?
Right, so on the one hand, the major trend in pharma is always that pipelines for new molecules need to be replenished. So what you'll see big pharma companies do is acquire biotechs. Roughly 50% of all new innovative drugs are acquired by big pharma rather than research themselves. So that's the number one driver of M&A always. But there's two additional drivers this year. First is GLP-1s, so weight loss drugs, which have become a blockbuster category, lots of sales, rapid growth, more new entrants. So that's definitely something that could provide a catalyst for M&A as well. And second is CDMOs. We already touched upon greasing tensions in the world, and CDMOs offer flexible manufacturing capacity. So that's also that they offer companies a way to localize production efficiently and quickly. So that's also a trend that could drive M&A activity. And then thirdly is artificial intelligence, where we see a lot of big pharma companies now really making a next step and investing in artificial intelligence prowess, both for clinical trials, but also for drug discovery. So those three trends together, we feel will drive M&A in 2026 in Europe and also in other parts of the world.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.